Welcome, everyone. It is the Bro, your end of the week, going into the weekend show that you love to watch, as we here at the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast review Ring of Honor. This is from Honor Club episode 53, and we have the full crew in the house tonight. We've got Andrew from an undisclosed location. We've got Jesse from another part of an undisclosed location. We've got Mikey in the Hefe Dome, where he usually is, and I'm removed over here, JVL, in a different part of my house. It's a new day. Yes, it is. It's a new time to get together. We're on the verge of a big pay-per-view in AEW, and we're here to watch probably one of the shortest Honor Club episodes we have seen in weeks. But before we do, I know I'm talking a lot here. I'm going to do a little housekeeping. We want you, of course, to be joining us tonight. You found us somehow on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that alert button so you can know notifications about all of our different content, including the fact that we review everything under the sun except for NJPW. So we have something coming out every day of the week. You can also follow us on all the socials at BC WrestlePod. You can drop us a comment down below, or you can join us live in New Jersey on May 18th for New Jersey WrestleCon, as a lot of the BC, the BC WrestlePod boys will be together at a table. And as we said last night on the Dynamite review, drop us a comment there because you're not doing it on the videos. We'd love to know why you're not commenting on the videos. Other than that, am I missing anything at all, anybody? Then let's put our hands in, because we have to observe the Code of Honor as we start the Bro. We begin with, honestly, the best thing going in wrestling right now, the quarterfinals of the Women's World Television Title Tournament, and we have two powerhouses in Taya Valkyrie and Queen Aminata squaring off in the ring to start us off. This was one of the best ways to start off an episode of ROH that I have seen in a while. These two worked so well together. Give me everything about this, everybody.
This was a great match. It was a great way to start. It was, the wrestling was really good. There were some humor, funny spots that kind of broke it up a little bit. When Johnny caught Queen off of the ring and the "Don't touch me" spot, that was fun. Taya had a really nice spear just somewhere in the middle, which I'm not used to her seeing that. I will say, not many power versus power women's matches are done this well. And I don't know if it was, it's certainly a testament to the two talent in the ring, but they were given enough time in it too. And I was very impressed by this match. And I was a little bit stunned by the ending. That headbutt kind of came out of nowhere, which is, I think, the idea of it. And we got Queen Aminata going on in the tournament, which I was not expecting. So, again, great match, hooked me the whole way, and shocked by the ending. Great way to start the show.
Good to her word, as she said in her promo the week before, she was going to do this. Andrew, how did you feel watching coming back after a week off?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was especially a great showing for Queen Aminata, where she looked really good in this, especially going against someone as experienced as Taya. I want to, on top of her looking good, I kind of appreciate the fact that Taya was willing to take that L, in this match. Because I think, like a lot of us, I was expecting Taia was going to be one half of the bracket semifinalists. And so I thought this was the big surprise. And I hope this means we're going to see a decent push of Queen Aminata. She's been doing a lot recently in Ring of Honor and AEW. I agree with Jesse. I thought this was a great opening match for the night. It was a lot of fun.
Just a quick question before Mikey goes into his as well. Do we feel like because their two styles are very similar, that they were a lot cleaner and a lot easier to work together? Because it seemed like when they were going slow, they made the choice to do so. When they were picking the pace up, it was really just not a lot of calling in the ring, but just feeling with it. I don't know. How did you all feel?
I thought they had fantastic in-ring chemistry.
Yep.
It seemed like they had both been wrestling for years together, which we know is not the case. So it was almost too good how seamless it was, and I love that for the both of them.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to how good both of those performers are with the experience that Taya has, and clearly the skills that Aminata has. So I think it was just really showing how good both of them are.
Perfect. Mikey, how'd you feel about seeing Aminata win this out? Yep, Mikey needs to turn his mic on. He'll be right here.
I hit the wrong button. I apologize. I got overzealous because I was pleasantly surprised that Queen won here. I was expecting Taya to make it all the way to the finals, but I am happy to see Queen win. And as what everyone else has said, I think their styles are very similar, and the years of experience combined between the two of them shows. Taii has been doing this for a very long time. Queen has been wrestling for about 6 or 7 years, so she's picked up a few things along the way. But I also think that with Taii being trained in Lucha Libre also has allowed them to be versatile in the way that she fights her opponents too, especially when you're trained in the style that the legend Beto Aguayo teaches and does. You know, when he was wrestling as well is very, very different than our high-flying action with Lucha Libre. It's more grounded, but allowing to, you know, be a hybrid of both. I thought this was a fantastic match. And I'm more excited now that Queen has won this one. I'm excited at the prospect of her going up against either Layla Hirsch or Red Velvet, which I'm also anticipating is going to be a really fun match. I may or may not cry at the end of it because I want both.
Well, we have to get there first, though, Mikey. We've got to get through next week and see who wins. So
I know
we will get to that. We will get to that. But overall, really fun way to open up this night of kind of a lot of great matches, and kind of get it in a good way because I don't know anyone else here in the next matches we go to. Raise your hand if you didn't realize which Seidel brother was coming out because it played Matt Seidel's music.
Oh, yeah.
But then Mike Seidel shows up out of nowhere, and I haven't seen him since way back on indie stuff, taking on Shotty Lee Johnson. And the one thing I'll say before we get into it, the crowd went mild, is all I'll say.
I saw Mike Seidel. I was like, okay, I'm not familiar with him, so let's see what comes of it. And then Shotty Lee's music hit, and I immediately rolled my eyes and groaned. I didn't want this match. It's just, the announcers need to stop pushing him. I'll like what I like. You don't need to tell me what I need to like. And that's very much kind of like you, JVL, the contrarian in me. Don't tell me what to like or I'm not going to like it. And let us miss him. He's been on everyone. Main event, close to main event, opener. Like, certainly not buried in the mid because it's either right up front or right at the end. But he didn't give me anything to care about. And I've said this multiple times. It's the worst part of it too is this wasn't a bad match, and he's not a bad wrestler. I just don't care. I'm not invested in his story because I don't know what his story is.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, I thought this was a decent back and forth match. There was good work from both of them. I liked that commentary is trying to play up the fact that Seidel is, you know, a yoga guy, so the submission moves were more like holding him in place and not actually hurting him. So I liked some of that, but yeah, I want some more development, especially story-wise, from Lee Johnson. I almost called him Lee Moriarty. No, that'd be more interesting. Lee Johnson, yeah, give him a story. Give him some, like, why is he there? What is he doing? Because right now, I mean, you know, we talk about some other folks that are in Ring of Honor being create a character, and he's literally the generic create a character.
It is.
So, I actually enjoyed this match a lot more than I thought I was going to. But I think that's because, and I say this every single week anytime we get Lee Johnson on our Ring of Honor television screen, his in-ring ability is fantastic. I think it's really there. Yeah. But it's the same critique I have with a bunch of the other, you know, indie people that have joined the multiverse of madness that is the ROH and AEW universe, where their in-ring is fantastic, but they're more boring than watching paint dry on a wall, and I'd rather watch that because Lee Johnson lacks charisma and he lacks a character direction for him because he doesn't have a character. He's literally generic creator wrestler from 2K25. Like, it's ridiculous. It looks like I built a character for Fight Forever. That's how bad this is in terms of there's no substance, there's no depth. He is in the kiddie pool where he needs to be swimming in the deep end if he's going to survive Ring of Honor.
Well, and honestly, I mean, I thought that when I was watching his entrance, I'm like, even his tights can't commit to anything. What is that color? Pink-ish?
Yeah.
Just sort of?
And I'm the music guy here because I love me some good wrestling themes. And I am the human jukebox. I will fight anybody on this panel who thinks otherwise. But anyways, even his music is so generic. I was just like, there's no oomph to it. Like, you compare, and obviously it's not fair to compare anything to Taii, but like, you listen to her theme song, I'm moving around the whole entire time. I'm making a spectacle of myself, dancing around as I'm listening to Tai's theme. And some of the other themes too are fun to like just be fun. too, aka a la Swerve Strickland. Like, his theme song goes off every time it goes on, and I get tired of it. I feel that whoever decided to get hired for Lee Johnson's music, they literally took a Craigslist ad, be like, I need generic wrestling music. Bam, here we go. You couldn't even get like the generic cover bands to do a theme song for him. It is so bland and boring.
And that's where we leave it right there, because honestly, it was a match that was won through submission wrestling. The crowd wasn't into it. No one was, which is sad, but hopefully we see a little more from both of them. Maybe they find something that have them latch on to. Unlike our next match, where we had a good definition of who was in the ring and what was about to happen, as Blake Christian took on Komander, and honestly turned the lucha, match on its head a bit, because Blake, although he is a high flyer, worked Komander down to the ring and was like, no, we're going to work this on the mat because you can't do much anywhere else. And I love having that psychology of like, I'm not going to take your mask off. I'm not going to do the cheap shot thing. I'm going to break your body so you can't do your offense. That's such a great way to be on.
Andrew, why don't you go ahead?
Oh,
I don't have anything bad to say about this match. Just I don't really have much to say about it.
Oh, yeah. See, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was where we were seeing more of a heelish Blake Christian. I feel like he's been slowly getting that way throughout his matches, and he was just meaner in this match than I think we've seen him, and maybe it's because we've seen him often in, Fatal 4-Way matches. But at this, in one-on-one against Komander, I mean, that knee he hit when Komander hit the ring post, and then he hit him with the knee against it, was vicious. I was surprised. I thought Christian was going to come out of this with a victory. And I'm pretty sure that Komander landed on his head when he hit that walk rope shooting star press. But it was a fun match, and I really am interested to see where they go with Blake Christian, taking him more in this kind of heelish route. But yeah, it was a really, really good match, I think.
Making him a heelador?
Yes.
Yeah. And the announcers were definitely playing to he's going more heel and kind of saying he's being all hard but sarcastically about it. So I mean, that seems to track. It seems to work for his character, give him a little bit of something different. There was a couple of high spots in this match for me. I thought the suplex off of the steel steps was a rough landing, we'll say. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was kind of a rough landing there. I loved the apron Hurricane Rana that was there. But I think my favorite part of the match, outside of the performance inside, which is, two great work because it's going to be a good match, Alex Abrahante's Spider-Man gear. I don't know if it was on purpose, but I'm like, he's trying to be like the Spider-Man. What's the Tom Holland Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He's had that a couple times, and he's actually called that out. But yeah.
Okay, well then, I guess I'm late to the party on that one.
One of my notes was, in parentheses, is Alex dressed like Spider-Man?
Yeah.
El hombre de araña.
Orange man?
I mean, no, that's not what he said, Jesse. Come on now.
That's what he said.
Wow, Jesse.
My remedial Spanish.
All right, I'm out. Bye, you guys.
No, I heard. I don't know what he said because on my end I heard hombre de naranja. I was like, that's orange man.
Araña. He said araña.
Araña.
Araña is spider in Spanish.
I heard naranja. That's why. Okay, so I heard the word incorrectly. So I didn't fail my ears still.
Hi guys, welcome to Spanish 1A, where I, your token brown boy, will be teaching you the basics of Spanish. Realistically, the only thing you need to know is ¿Dónde está el baño? And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's like, where's the bathroom? That's really all you need to know, and you're going to be set.
I think the other important phrase is, to make a lot of friends, besa mi culo.
But, Mikey, did you feel that about this match? Is that how you were looking at this match, and it was that you need to find the bathroom, or what's going on here?
I mean... No, I'm just kidding. I actually really enjoyed this match. Of course, anytime we get to see Blake Christian in the ring, I was like, oh yeah, GCW's like world champion. I was like, except less bleedy, so that's always a good thing. And of course, anytime Komander's in the ring, I really, really enjoy it. I'm happy to see Komander has kind of found his home, quote unquote, away from home, so to speak, in Ring of Honor, because, the luchadors actually get to win in Ring of Honor most of the time. I'm looking at you, Penta. You should probably come to Ring of Honor because you be booked better. I'm just saying, man. Just saying, but one thing I really appreciated from Ian and Caprice is that after the match was over, they let the audience know that this was Komander's 5th straight win, so you know what that means. We get a title match of his choosing at some point. Probably
or conflict
first.
with Ethan Page, as they were hinting toward as well, like who gets it first.
Low-key, this is going to be great. Ethan versus Komander to see who is the rightful #1 contender, because we're trying to push out a storyline because visa issues. Stupid American government system. How dare you? Anyways, that's another podcast. But I thought this was a fantastic match. I really, really enjoyed it. I loved it. You know, despite Lee Johnson and everything, I was like, you know what? This is not a bad Ring of Honor. And then, you know, we'll talk about it later because weird editing really ruined a match I was really looking forward to.
Unfortunately, yes. But, you know, we got that nice kind of pick-me-up after the Lee Johnson match. We got all that through there. And the nice kind of, like, sort of heelish ending to it as Komander holds up Blake Christian's arm as he rolls out. And then we get the promo of the night because there's an emergency MIM meeting, folks. Did everyone stand up and put their MIM shirts on and get ready for the family stuff? Because I know I was on the edge of my seat to see what was going to go on here. And, oh, Lord, calling out Lexi Nair about following Dalton Castle around. Way to go, Athena. Thank you for that.
I mean, normally I agree with Athena, but I was like, girl, her following Dalton Castle is the best thing. I totally get where you're coming from. But somebody needs to check in with Dalton Castle.
But she's divided. She needs to be there to support her other minions, including Billy, who Athena still doesn't believe could win this tournament on her own without Athena being there. So that's kind of a big thing.
Spoiler alert, she may not anymore now. You telegraphed it.
I feel like you know, it was a fun way for them to connect the two best storylines going in Ring of Honor right now. I like that little attachment there. But yeah, this promo was fire, especially that end. That little bit of a monologue that Athena gave was, woof. Yeah. Best faction in wrestling right now, I think.
And like putting everyone else, including Eddie Kingston and Fletcher on notice, like, yeah, you might have a legitimate excuse for not being there, but you're still not here. What the hell's going on?
After that, I was like, maybe Lexi recruits Dalton to be a minion as well, because I feel like that would be a lot of fun for everybody.
I mean, we're not spoiling anything, but does Dalton need some help? I mean, obviously, going forward, so who knows?
So I've got a couple of notes about this. There were some really good lines. Calling Nyla Rose the human embodiment of chaos was great. And then the immediate cut over to, and I yeeted that hussy through a table, which is, I never knew those words could be used together like that, so I really enjoyed it. When Billy was pulling the promo to her, did anyone catch what Billy's minion number is?
Oh, God, there's like a quarter and a half in there.
400,237 3/4. That's her minion number, which is great because I'm 400,238, so she's only a quarter above me.
Oh, nice.
And just my only qualm, because I have to, because I'm a stan. Don't on Robin Renegade like that. Come on, that was an amazing match.
I think it was meant to be more of a dig at Billy, dismissing.
Oh, it definitely was, but it was
yeah.
definitely it dug both of them.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they, as Mikey's hinting at, kind of like whether they have this turn now where she's not going to end up winning it either. With Taii out of the thing, who was a favorite for it, you know, you've got that kind of like little worry that there. This could turn into something fun. But in general, it was a great promo overall. We loved every bit of it on that one.
Oh yeah, I still absolutely loved it. So.
Exactly. And then we moved on to someone, we had a return to ROH for someone that I haven't seen since Wrestle Kingdom and forgotten how well he sells for other people. The Bone Warrior Taiji Ishimori taking on Jacoby Watts in a pretty much squash match, but a little well worked in that one.
Yeah, I was super happy to see Ishimori back just back somewhere where I could watch him wrestle. I was super happy when he popped back up in New Japan as the new Bone Soldier. I was super happy for him, but now I'm happy for us. I'm hoping he's going to do more in Ring of Honor. I hope this was more of like a debut, even if it's like sporadic appearances, because there's a lot of people I'd love to see him face off against.
We've got champions who have sporadic appearances, so.
So this was a fun match to get everyone who isn't familiar with him introduced to him, and his style is so unique. You put him up against high flyers, fast guys. powerhouses, any of that kind of stuff, and he's going to put on a crazy match.
But he can work a comedy match as well, as we've seen in New Japan as well. He knows how to make every one of these guys look amazing.
Yeah.
So I was not familiar with Ishimori, but my first thought was, man, he is fast. Like, my word, he is fast. It was a quick match. I'll let Mikey talk about all the lovely stuff that happened during the match that was distracting for everyone. But overall, I liked it better than the Lee Johnson match.
I mean, that's not setting the bar high.
Don't have very high bar at all.
I'm going to take everyone.
You're never disappointed, Andrew.
I'm going to take everyone on a quick journey with this one, right?
Oh,
so when I saw the card and we were getting Taiji Ishimori, I literally like melted upon myself because I love Taiji Ishimori's style. I love him as a character. I love him as a wrestler.
You blasted group next with so many things about him. Like, you were like, oh my God, he's here. Oh my God.
Look, even though we don't watch New Japan faithfully because of, we're covering everything else on the planet, I still like to keep up, and Taiji is one of my tops right now in terms of New Japan stars that are still left in New Japan, which is...
But is he?
Look, if we're going to continue to get him... See, you missed me when I say that. Anyways... What really bothered me about this match is the weird jump cuts and edits that we were getting with this.
Yeah.
I'm like, we would get from one frame to another. I'm like, did we corrupt a camera? What happened to the footage? And
Kevin Dunn took over for at least, one match, obviously.
Oh, gosh, no. Keep that man away from the camera. Like, keep him away from the editing bay. That's the only negative I had about this because it's Taiji Ishimori. And we know he can do a lot, but the editing was so jarring. I was like, I really hope he sticks around because I want a redemption, because this is not how you present this cool character to the American audiences. But other than that minor little nitpick, I was a happy camper. I love Taiji, and I love Jacoby Watts' character too. It's so ridiculous. I was like, there are some repressed feelings, and I felt good watching someone with that character get his butt whooped up down by Taiji Ishimori. It was fantastic.
This was interesting to see where, this is a pre-taped show as well. So you wonder how they could get away with all of this problematic stuff with the actual cuts and everything in between. This had to go through an edit. It's not like they were live editing it somewhere, pulling things away. So you can do better, ROH. We know you can. We do go from, Taiji Ishimori wiping the floor with Dollar Store JBL to the one and only now, not Ricochet, but Queen Aminata, confirming what she said before, holding her ground, and really setting herself up to be the one to beat in this tournament. Her promos week to week have gotten so much better. Take note, seasoned English speakers. You too can speak well and actually get a point across. Try what Aminata's doing. Talk from your heart.
It was honest, it was earnest, it was a great promo. Can we please stop forcing her to use the word juicy?
But I'm going to be
so
honest.
It's so distracting. It just takes me out of the whole thing. I'm not feeling very juicy. Like, well, you're covered in sweat, so what do you really mean? Don't answer that. That sounds like a Patreon thing.
I'm going to hold my thoughts because I'm going to let Andrew go and, talk about it because I have a dissenting opinion.
No, I mean, I thought this was great. She's been doing some great promo work, lately in between her matches. I think it's been what's been paying off into her in-ring appearances. I think she's, 6-0 now in Ring of Honor, which is great. I mean, if she goes through and wins this tournament, she's going to be undefeated in Ring of Honor. She'll put together 2 more wins if she wins the title. So I think it could be a huge push. I'd love to see her versus Billy in the finals. I think that would be great for 2 relatively young and new performers to be at the top of this for this new title. So I love what they're doing with her in these promos. I didn't have so much issues with her juiciness, but, teach their own. But yeah, no, she's great, and I'm looking forward to more of her.
Okay, Mikey, your dissenting opinion.
My dissenting opinion, I am going to disagree with Jesse. No, okay. Yeah, only in the aspect it was like,
you looking for a fight? Just keep looking. I don't want to fight.
And I don't want to fight you either, Jesse. I love you too much, but I'm gonna disagree slightly with it. I understand where you're coming from. especially when you have a non-native speaker try to use vernacular that's not necessarily akin to their own like location, culture, region of the world, things like that. And it may seem kind of forced. And I initially thought about that, but I think that I'm kind of slowly warming up to the idea of that being one of her catchphrases, only because before she didn't even believe it herself when she was saying it. But I think the more that she gives these promos and the more that she talks, she's slowly starting to come around and start to believe more and more of what she's saying. Even if juicy is a ridiculous catchphrase to have as a wrestler, I'm going to be completely honest, that from a marketing standpoint is how you sell merch and how you get people to be over with you, because let's face the facts. We live in a society where it's the microwave generation of things and everything is a hashtag. So you need to give the American audiences something to gravitate towards. Keep it simple, you know, something for people to say. Something that juicy wouldn't be the word that I would have given Queen Amana to use as a catchphrase. It's definitely going to be selling merch like hotcakes. And I'm just happy to see Queen have such a rise since being around here in Ring of Honor and going from losing all the time to actually picking up wins, because her Ring of Honor record is so much better than her AEW record. Let's just put it out there.
Are we waiting to see the giant juicy signs in Wembley now? Like just big letters across?
I'm Wait, is it signs honest. That say juicy or signs that are juicy?
Exactly.
Both. Yes. I am officially on Team Juicy, so
I want to see shirts with like a juice box on them that just say Aminata.
I need her to team up with Orange Cassidy, and they can be Juice Box, Juicy Box, the Juicy Cassidy as a tag team
Juicy
name.
Box would be a little bit tougher to sell on that point. It'd be hard at that point, but yes,
and that sounds like another Patreon thing, Juicy Box.
Or their tag name, it could be Queen Cassidy. That actually sounds really good. Orange Aminata. Sounds like a good drink.
No, a good drink is what happened next, because I'm sorry. We came to our main event. The TVs make their entrance again. Taia's got her managerial jacket on, which is a little bit shorter, a little more leather. Very fun. Dalton Castle comes out, and you're thinking, well, he's finally getting what he wants. He's still disheveled. He's so tired. And the boys open up, and they come out, and I thought of all you. I sent you a text when I saw this. The greatest entrance and way to further this character beat happens. Our boys, the Iron Savages, appear from nowhere. Jack Jameson stops Dalton Castle. Bronson comes around and goes, "You look like you need some savage sauce." They shake it up. Dalton drinks of the font and becomes the old Dalton Castle. Full entrance, full everything else. It set the tone for this ridiculous match, and it went the way I thought it would. Dalton failed. The story continues. Boys, tell me why this isn't your match of the night, or tell me why it is your match of the night. Come on.
This match was stupid in the best way possible. Like this,
I was ready. I was changing my mind. I was like, oh, okay, we are going to fight tonight. But okay, you had me in the first half there, Mikey.
I'm glad I could be that convincing. I love me some good old-fashioned camp in wrestling, because you suspend your disbelief with all these characters and whatnot. And what perfect way to have the trifecta of suspending your disbelief from Dalton Castle and the boys to the TVs, who have their shorts on YouTube every Wednesday now, which is hilarious to watch, by the way. It's so good.
I love Taii. It's a lot of fun.
And then you have the perfect ingredient that is Jack Jameson and the Iron Savages to literally give Dalton Castle the Ring of Honor version of Honey Boo Boo Go-Go Juice here, because like it brought him back to life. And I said this before, if we're going to do custom matches in 2024, there has to be absolute absurdity. And the ending of this match and the visual of the TVs pulling the boys like they are children throwing a tantrum in the grocery store made me feel so weird. And I need to give kudos to Ian and Caprice, because they were even dejected in their delivery as Ring of Honor was going off the air in like the last 30-45 seconds. They made me feel sad for Dalton Castle. It was ridiculous. Taii taking selfies with the boys. I was just like, it reminds me of all those Instagrammers, like people who like pretend to be like, I'm enjoying my life sitting here on this couch and whatnot. But this was ridiculous. My favorite move of this whole entire night, though, is when Taii assisted Johnny with like leaping over her to kick Dalton Castle in the face. Literally just like vaulted over her. I'm like, and I'm never going to get tired of seeing Starship Pain as a finisher. It's one of my favorite things to watch. This match ruled. And if anybody says this match was stupid, then I have to say, you're stupid.
You just said it was stupid when you started.
So tell yourself you're
stupid.
Look, I have had a week with the internet wrestling community.
Now the backpedaling starts. First he says he's stupid, then he won't say he's stupid. Like I get it, Mikey. You just don't
listen
admit
here,
up to
you weirdo. Okay.
Whoa! Don't attack
okay, that's
me.
three of us. You can't collectively call us out like that.
I can generalize, the rest of the world does, but I've had a week with the internet wrestling community taking wrestling so serious within the last couple of days that people forgot we're supposed to have fun with wrestling, and this was fun. And for anyone that wants to critique this, sure, comedy wrestling may not be your thing, but you cannot and will not disparage the fun of anyone else. In the words of Brian Zane on the Wrestling with Regret YouTube channel, like what you like, don't be a turd. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
That beeping sound of Mikey backing up and backing up and backing up from what he said there. That's all I'm hearing the whole time. Is just I said the thing and then I'm called myself. I don't know, Mikey.
Okay.
You got to be transparent here.
Like a Telltale game. Careful. I will remember this when you need something from me. So watch yourself.
Take it easy, Mikey. Hit an extra high pitch.
You're still on probation.
I'm going to move forward. I love this match. There's a couple of parts of it that were fantastic. When Dalton goes back to actually talking to the camera in the beginning before he gets to the ring, and he says, the blood in me is hotter than lava and it's in my blood, so it's magma. Cool. I get a geology lesson here too. So love that part. He did what he said he was going to do. He actually got to smash Johnny TV's face into the mat. Great start.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
That crucifix
spike. The cinematography at the end, when he's heartbroken, holding one of the boys' fans like this, and that's what we cut off air with. It's like, no, you're not supposed to do that to me. This is supposed to be fun. I'm not supposed to be unhappy and sad about the ending of this match. This was supposed to, I'm not having fun. You better fix it. You better fix it.
But you want them to fix it. That's the best part. You want to come back and see them fix it.
A few things for me about this was I want to give a shout out also to Aubrey. Because she had some great moments in there. Walking out and holding up the boys' hands like they're a title that they were going to fight over. She says, this is a custody battle. So she walks out with them. Her stopping Taii, taking the pictures and saying, you're not a family. And just like her interactions, giving Dalton the fan at the end. Like, she is hands down the best referee.
Can we keep Aubrey in Ring of Honor? I don't want her to go back to
I hope so.
Please.
Actually, no, I kind of want her to because she's great.
Her holding the two boys' arms and giving them to Taii and Johnny at the end.
She even looks sad having to give them to them.
I am your court-ordered bailiff that has to hand the kids over after a nasty divorce. It's like, oh, God.
So what I would like to see in the next couple weeks... I'm sorry, Andrew, did you still have other points to make? Because I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just going to say that I really enjoyed the crossover with the Iron Savages, the story and the mythos that we're keeping going in Ring of Honor. I loved Dalton Castle reaching for the ropes in the pin, like he was reaching for, but he was so beat down. Because we don't get things like that, and I know that's the theater performer in him that actually is showing us that struggle that he's trying to do. So yeah, and I think what we got in this was we thought this might be kind of an end for this story, or at least getting close to it. And I think what it showed us is we're in the middle of it now. And I think we're going to see the Iron Savages play a big part in getting the boys back.
They're going to get to Supercard of Honor, and that's where I think this is going to come to a head, honestly.
And that's where I want it to. I hope it does. But I want to see how this story develops in the next few weeks, because I feel like it would be fun. I want to see Dalton Castle and clearly Johnny TV, I'm not going to rematch. No, I don't want to rematch, and keep pushing that up until Supercard of Honor. But in the interim, Dalton goes and tries to find a replacement for the boys. And it's just all the different tag teams in ROH in the boys' ring gears. Like, I want to see the Iron Savages come out in those really tight pants that are clearly too small for them and the masks on and trying to be the boys. Like, I think that would be a hilarious way to go with this.
I'm going to take it one step further. Forget looking for other tag teams. The substitute is the Iron Savages. They build this weird bond, and then eventually when Dalton gets the boys back, the Iron Savages aren't upset about it. It's just like, yeah, we know. I was just like, look, I want some good comedy spots. I'm just imagining the Iron Savages coming out at these big, burly, massive men and like these masks and like feathers and everything.
The Iron
Physical
Peacock.
comedy. This is
Iron
gold,
Peacocks.
Ring of Honor.
Yeah, it's the Iron Peacocks. Also, just to give a shout out quickly before we get to our ratings, the amount of control in the air Johnny TV has of his body when he did the backflip over to crotch himself on the ropes.
Yes.
And was completely safe, didn't go off onto the apron, landed straight up, did the comedy spot. Like, how are you able to do that? Like, that should not be physically possible.
Well, and him
Seriously.
using capoeira to get away from Dalton's wrestling was like such a good play on their skills. It was really good. Really, really
This
good.
was a showcase overall, and it ended the night on a very sour note, but also one of the better notes it could have. So, gentlemen, because we have a sour taste in our mouths, we're going to have to eat up and see what we did. Please give me your empanada ratings for this week's ROH.
Okay.
I give it an 8. And almost all the matches I ranked them pretty much at the same because I thought they were all really good matches, except for one match, which is what brought down my ranking to an 8. It was a short, sweet show. I would have liked a little bit more story building, but what we did get was a good build to where we're heading. I hope in the next couple of weeks we're going to see more of that. We already got Nia versus Athena in that 2 out of 3 tables match, which felt like that could have been, a Super Card of Honor main event with the two of them. We got this Johnny and Dalton showdown, so what are we going to build to? We're going to build to a rematch? Because I don't think anyone would be upset about it. But yeah, thank you, Ring of Honor, for a short and sweet show.
It was short. I think that benefited a bit because we've had a lot of long shows lately. But overall, on Panat scales, this was a 6.6 3/4, 6.75 for me. It wasn't nearly as high as the past 2 weeks have been. I would have liked it to be a little longer to get a few more matches in there. I would have dropped a couple of matches. I would have liked some more women's matches in there. We only had one for the whole night. But certainly not the worst Ring of Honor episode I've watched. Overall, I had a good time. I enjoyed it. I thought the storytelling was good. There was a few things I would have included. But again, not a bad night.
No.
I'm going to give this a solid 7.5 out of 10 for me. Not that necessarily 7.5 is bad. It was a really short episode, which, as someone who has to watch Ring of Honor and TNA within the same span of 24 hours, definitely helps me out. Especially since TNA decided to go ham with announcements over the last 12 hours, which we'll talk about off camera because it makes me super excited. Yeah, Lee Johnson, just as a person and as a character, really sours my mood because your in-ring is so good. And I don't know if it's your fault, if it's Jerry Lynn's and everybody else in the back of Ring of Honor, but we need to give you some improv classes. We need to get you some acting classes. Like, we need you to get,
a mouthpiece.
Yes, we need the charisma factor because you are sucking the life out of the room every time you walk into it. And you shouldn't make me feel that way. But
show us why Julia Hart fell in love with you.
Seriously, there's got to be something there. We'll talk about. Nope, gonna leave that alone. Gonna leave that alone. But I give this a 7.5. I enjoyed this. It was a nice short episode. Lee Johnson really brought it down for me. And also the weird editing versus Taiji Ishii in Taiji's match really, really also soured me a bit because it was so jarring. It was so weird. But overall, I enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the saga that is the next chapter of Dalton Castle's Sad Boy EXE being activated.
We're going to get there. It'll be a cheesy soap opera of all types. Speaking of which, also my cheesy empanadas, I also gave it a 7.5. If we had replaced the Lee Johnson match with something like another women's match or anything else, this would have been about an 8. It wasn't a bad night. I enjoyed it overall. but that's where we are. Gentlemen, thank you for doing this really just breezy, easy ROH with me this week. Put your hands in to observe the code of honor at the end. Thank you for doing this with us. Jesse is going to be the heel of this and not do it. And of course, remember, as always, thank you for watching ROH with us. Please check it out every week. But if you don't, join us here. Drop a comment because you're Bi-Conic. We're all Bi-Conic together. And we'll see you in the next video.
I think a fun idea would be, I don't know if they'd go this route, but you get a rotating roster, which are basically, like Jesse was saying, all the different tag teams, all that kind of stuff, to be the boys each every week. So, because we know he's done that before, brought in other tag teams when the boys weren't there, has them come in and be the stand-in each week, and then the match we get at Super Card of Honor is he gets some special stipulation where it's a lumberjack match, and all the lumberjacks are all of the other boys.
Yes!